And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. Genesis chapter 4. It's a shame when brothers kill brother like Abel and Cain. Cain and Abel. Genesis chapter 4. Adam knew Eve. Soon she conceived and bare Cain, a man from the Lord. Then she bare again his brother Abel. He was a keeper of sheep, but Cain grew from the ground food to eat. So Cain brought fruit as an offering. As for Abel, he also brought some firstlings of his flock, and the fat thereof. Respect unto Abel from the Lord up above. But unto Cain he did not look with any favor. Upon his offering Cain grew hot with anger, and the countenance of his face began to fall. Soul starts to waver. The Lord said, Cain, why are you hot with anger? And why has your countenance fallen wayward? If you do well, shall you not be accepted, says the Lord? If you don't do well, sin lies at the door. Cain and Abel. To Abel, now they're in the field. He assaulted his brother, wanted Abel killed. Hit him in the head, blood shed, Abel's dead. Cain fled, the words of the Lord said, Where is Abel, your brother, the shepherd? I don't know, he replied. Am I my brother's keeper? The Lord said, What have you done, Cain? From the ground cries the voice of your brother's bloodstains. Understand, now you are cursed from the land, which has opened her mouth. Your brother's blood at your hands. When the ground is tilled, her strength shall not yield. See, a wanderer and a fugitive you will be. Days to weeks, months to years. Cain said, My punishment is greater than I can bear. For what I did, you have driven me out. From thy face shall I be hid, to live like a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Genesis chapter 25. Struggle in the womb, Esau and Jacob. God told Rebekah, you'll give birth to two nations. The older will serve the younger, twins in her belly. First who came out was Esau, red and hairy. His brother came out second, holding his heel. They named him Jacob. He was God's favorite. Time flew, and the boys grew. Esau was the hunter who would hunt for food. Jacob was simple. One day he's boiling up stew. From the field, hungry and tired, Esau came through. He said, Please, give me a swallow of the red pottage, that is, for I am famished. Jacob said, Sell me your birthright, you can have this. He replied, I wanna die, what good is a birthright? Esau sworn, sold his right as firstborn. Bread and stew he ate and drank, then walked on. Then walk on. Age 40, Esau married his wives, daughters of the Hittites, which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and Rebekah. In time Isaac grew old, he could not see. Called his son Esau, he said, come before me. Behold, I am old, son, I know not the day of my death. Then he told him, hunt me some food, make me some savory meat, such as I love, bring it to me that I may eat. Take your weapons, the quiver and the bow, that my soul may bless you before I go. Rebecca heard everything her husband spoke. Esau went into the field to get the food he hunted and killed. Rebecca devised a plan, told Jacob, my son, obey my voice to which I command. Go, fetch me 2 goats, I will prepare the meal. Bring it to your father that he may bless you, that's the deal. Jacob said, my brother is hairy, I am smooth, well if my father feels, I'll be cursed and doomed. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go, fetch me them. And he went and fetched, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. Rebecca took some of Esau's clothes and put them on Jacob, her younger son. This is what was done. She put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and neck, so he appears as firstborn. Gave the meat and bread she prepared to her son. Jacob told his father, what you asked I have done. Isaac said, how is it that you found it so quickly? He said, the Lord brought it to me. Jacob was witty. His father says, come near. The voices of Jacob, but the hands are of Esau filled with hair. So we blessed him right there. He ate, brought him some wine, and he drank. His father says, come close. Kiss me, my son, he kissed him. Smelled the smell of his clothes. Isaac blessed Jacob, held back nothing. Right before Esau came back from hunting. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn, Esau. Esau, Esau, Esau. Read chapter 27 of Genesis to finish this. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him. Genesis 37, verse 3 and 4.
Yes. Now Jacob had his son Joseph. He made his son a coat of many colors. Cause Joseph was his favorite son. But he was hated by all his brothers. And it was murder that was in their hearts. Yeah, they hated Joseph from the very start. For his father's love and his bravery. So they sold him into slavery. In those days it was the Egyptians, deep inside the pyramids they made inscriptions. Sold him to a life that was very hard. They sold him to the master of Pharaoh's guard. But God was with him, see, the whole time. The gifted prophet, he could read signs. Potiphar's wife had her own designs. She wanted sex, but he declined. There's no fury like a scorned woman, and Joseph didn't even see it coming. And there was really no way he could bail. And so they came and threw him in jail, coat of many colors.
Joseph. And it came to pass that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. And she caught him by his garment, Joseph. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got himself out, Joseph. Genesis 39, verse 12.
I rock a coat of many colors.
She cried rape. Potiphar's wife threw him in jail for that part of his life. And the butler and the baker had a dream one night, and we heard what you could do, so can you help us? baker, you'll lose your head. There'll be no more baking bread. With the butler, you'll be back inside the palace instead. Don't forget what I said. He remembered his pledge when Pharaoh was having dreams and he wanted them read. Oh, truly tremendous one, if I may speak. Met a man in jail with a strange technique. His name was Joseph, and he knew the riddles of sleep. How come? Because I'm here and the baker's deceased. And Pharaoh passed a decree, bring Joseph to me. He can make heads and tails of these dreams I see. And Joseph did. Sire, better store water and wheat, cause drought's coming to Egypt and there'll be nothing to eat. My name's Joseph.
And the 7 years of famine began to come. Joseph. And when the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Joseph. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. Joseph. Genesis 41 verse 55. I rock a coat of many colors.
7 long years, famine not feast. But Joseph packed granaries with water and wheat, and the land didn't thirst and the people could eat. To show their gratitude, they gave him a high seat. Getting carried through the marketplace, he came on the scene. An argument over food was out of a dream. Lo and behold, his brothers, he started to scheme. A test to see if they changed from cruel and mean. And he whispered to his guard,
"Here, take this cup and stash it in their coat. When they get up, accuse them of robbery. Bring them to me with their stuff, and we will test their hearts. A magnificent bluff."
and the guard went forth, executed the plan, delivered the brothers straight into Joseph's hands. These most unworthy ones are caught stealing and ran. Didn't recognize Joseph with his Egyptian tan. Who stolen from Egypt this cup of silver and gold? Still in his debt, if truth be told. By the way, how's your father, son? He must be old. What is your name? Benjamin. You'll pay the price that's owed. The Jew depleted master, I must be heard. Spare the boy, mighty one. We gave father our word. Take me instead of him, for this is surely preferred. Joseph responded, you saved yourself with your words. Oh, my lost brethren, can't you see? The one you sold to slavery long ago is me. My Lord, our God works magnificently. Could have taken your lives, but I'ma set y'all free. My name's Joseph.
And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Joseph. And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled by his presence. Joseph. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray thee. Joseph. It was not you that sent me hither, but God. I rock a coat of many colors. Genesis 45 verse 3. Exodus chapter 2. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to a wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and dabbed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. Baby Moses' mother put him in a basket and sent him up the Nile so he won't be killed by Egyptians. Meanwhile, from a distance, being watched by his sister to find out what happens as he floats up the river. Pharaoh's daughter came down to bathe in the water. Her maids walking along the riverside saw the basket in the middle of the reed. She told her, grab it and bring it to me. When she opened it, she got to see the child as he weep. Compassionate, though she knew he was a child of the Hebrew. To the daughter of Pharaoh, his sister said, should I find a Hebrew woman so he can be fed? She told her, go. Maid servant called the child's mother. It's amazing, to nurse her own child she gave her wages. The child grew. She brought him to Pharaoh's daughter named Moses. She said, cause I drew him out of the water. Moses. Moses, Musai's utmost wisdom, mighty words and deeds he learned from Egyptian. Moses. Raised by the daughter of Pharaoh, since a shorty, from a boy to a man, now Moses is 40. It came to pass in those days Moses was grown. He went out unto the brethren of his own, looked on their burdens, spotted an Egyptian, striking a Hebrew person. Soon the plot thickens. He looks this way and that way. When he saw no one was watching, the Egyptian man he slayed, killed the man, hit him in the sand. The second day he beholds two of the Hebrew men struggling with each other, fighting with their hands. He said, why strike each other? This one here's your brother. He said, who appointed you over the others as prince or someone here to judge us? Do you intend to kill me like that Egyptian man? Surely this was known. Moses feared and ran. Pharaoh was after his head, so we fled to the land of Midian. The land of Midian. Moses. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. The priest of Midian had 7 daughters. Moses was sitting by a well as they came and drew water to water their father's flock. As always, the shepherds came and drove them away. Moses stood up, helped them, gave their flock water. When the daughters came to Ruel, their father, he said, how is it that you come home so soon today? They said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, drew water for us and watered the flock we just left them. Their father says, where is he? Call him and bread we may eat. Moses was content to dwell with the man, gave he daughter Zipporah's hand. She bare him a son, called him Gershom, a stranger in a strange land. In time, king of Egypt died, Israel sighed cause of their bondage. Their cries reached the Most High. Moses. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Exodus chapter 2. Joshua chapter 6, 1 through 25. Jericho was on lockdown, no one could come in or out. Unto Joshua the words came out the Lord's mouth. I have given into your hand Jericho, the king and the mighty man who dwell in the land. You must go with your men of war, march around the city once, do it this way for 6 days. 7 priests should carry 7 ram horns before the ark. On the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times. The priests blow their horns. It shall come to pass that when they make that long blast of the ram horns and hear the trumpet sound on at last, all the people must shout out a great war cry. The walls of the city shall fall down before your eyes. You must go in and conquer, take all their lives. Leave no man, woman, or child alive. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. If you live, it's a miracle. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Joshua commanded the people, you should neither shout, nor let your voice be heard or a word out your mouth, until the day I say to you shout. Then you must shout, no doubt. So they march around the city once carrying the ark. 7 priests, 7 ram horns as they walk. Men equipped for war in the front, no one talks. Just the sound of blowing trumpets as the rear guard follows the ark of the covenant. That was the way they did it for 6 days. Day 7, they up at the crack of dawn, early morn. This day they walked 7 times, marching on. The priest blew the horn 7 times, battles on. Joshua shouts, Jehovah gives you the city. Clean them out, destroy them all, except the prostitute and those in the house. She hit the messengers whom we sent out. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. If you live, it's a miracle. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Told Israel Israel, keep away from the unclean, accursed things, don't bring it back to the camp, the hurt that it brings. But all the silver, gold, articles of copper and iron are something holy, treasures to the one and only. And it came about when they heard the sound of the horns, they begin to shout a war cry loud. The walls fall down, they capture the city, destroy with the sword everything living, young to the old, men to the women, bull, sheep, and ass, the killing, the blood, the spilling. The only ones who survived is Rahab and her family ties, safely brought them out to the camp outside of Israel. Then they burned the city down and everything in it. Jericho's over, kept the silver, gold, copper, and iron for the treasures of Jehovah. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. If you live, it's a miracle. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Fall like the walls of Jericho. Jericho, 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 Jericho. Judges chapter 13. Sons of Israel were in the hands of the Philistines. Jehovah gave them Samson, a man to redeem. An angel appears to his mother like a dream. He will give birth to a son, the chosen one. But don't eat anything unclean under the sun. No razor shall touch his head. Nazarite of God is what the child will become. With his strength there will be no equal. Sent to save Israel's people. Ran home to her husband, prayed for guidance. Angel appears a second time to provide it. Everything I speak, it helps to keep it all to yourself. Nothing at all that comes forth from the wine vine should she eat, and the wine or intoxicated liquor let her drink, and no unclean thing of any sort let her eat. Everything I have commanded let her keep. Strongest man who ever lived did the hardest thing you ever did. Killed a lion with his bare hands. Strength of 1,000,000 men. Strongest man who ever lived. Samson did the hardest thing you ever did. Samson killed a lion with his bare hands. Samson strength of 1,000,000 men. Samson burnt offerings upon a rock thanks to the maker. Jehovah Alpha Omega. Angel descends into the flame like vapors. Later the woman gave birth to a son named Samson. He kept getting bigger and the Lord kept blessing him. Little did he know that the world was testing him. Wanted the Philistine wife, she was the right one in his eyes, but the Philistines ruled the Israelites. A plan from the Father's hand. Samson took a journey to a nearby land. As he approached the vineyards, a roaring lion came upon him. He ripped the lion apart in two bare hands. Then the saga continues. Got the Timnah, wife awaits you. Stayed for a while, many days passed now. Walked the same way back home, gazed at the ground. The lion he took down, bees swarm around. Inside the corpse, honey was found out of the eater. Something to eat came forth out of the strong. Something sweet came forth. Strongest man who ever lived did the hardest thing you ever did. Killed a lion with his bare hands. Strength of 1,000,000 men. Strongest man who ever lived. Samson did the hardest thing you ever did. Samson killed a lion with his bare hands. Samson strength of 1,000,000 men. Samson posed the riddle, the 30 groomsmen. If you solve it, give you 30 outfits and undergarments. Unable to solve the riddle, 3 days passed. 4th day secretly went to his wife, harassed. Death threats, right, said they'll take her life. Set fire to her home unless she gave the answer to the poem. She told him. Soon the groomsman seen Samson and approached him. The answer was spoken, connived and lied. The answer came from his wife. A bet's a bet, he owes him a prize. Filled with the spear, went down to Ashkelon. Struck down 30 men, took everything they had on. Gave the outfits to the groomsman, now we even. Head back to my homeland, now I'm leaving. I'll give you a gift, but truly, it's the Father's energy that flows through me. To be continued. Strongest man who ever lived. Samson did the hardest thing you ever did. Samson killed a lion with his bare hands. Samson strength of 1,000,000 men. Samson. The book of Judges, chapter 16, verse 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah. First chance to burn him, she'll throw him in the fire. Lords of the Philistines came up to her and said, "Fool Samson, what is his power so we can have his head? Find out his secret, and we shall give you each 1,100 silver pieces." The next hour, Delilah said, "Samson, what is your power? And with what can you be tied down to make you cower?" He put her to the test, then tie me down with 7 still moist sinews that haven't dried out yet. Then I'll become like an ordinary man. The Philistines brought her the rope. She tied him around his hands, set him up for ambush. She cried. Philistines arrived. Samson tore his hands free, ready to fight. Delilah said, "Speak to me in lies. Now tell me, do please, with what can you be tied?" Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end of the strongest man. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end of the strongest man. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end of the strongest man. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end. Delilah took new ropes, tied him. "Philistines are coming," she said. He tore him in two from his arms like a thread. He lied a third time. She kept pressuring him, impatient. He finally told her his heart's secret. "A razor has never come upon my head. I am a Nazarite, a guy from my mother's belly," he said. "If I did get shaved, my power will depart from me. Then I will grow weak and become like all other men." She immediately seeked the Philistines, proceeded to make Samson sleep upon her knees as he dreamed. She had the man shave off his head. "Philistines are upon you," he awoke and said. "I shall make myself free," began to slay man. But he did not know Jehovah's energy departed from him. They grabbed him, bored his eyes out, kidnapped him, brought him to Gaza, bound him with 2 fetters of copper. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end of the strongest man. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end of the strongest man. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end of the strongest man. Samson and Delilah, beginning and the end. Samson's locked in the prison house. Meanwhile, the hair of his head started to grow out. Lords of the Philistines gathered to sacrifice to their God and rejoiced on Samson being captured. They prayed to the God and said, "Our God has given us into our hand our enemy, the devastator of our land." Their hearts were merry, drunk off booze, man, so they called for Samson that he may offer up amusement. Took him out of prison into the banquet of men and women. All the lords were there, 3,000 looked instead. Stood between 2 pillars, said to the boy holding his hand, "Permit me to feel the pillars by which I stand. Sovereign Lord Jehovah, remember me, strengthen me just this once. Let me avenge myself upon the Philistines." Braced himself on the pillar, right hand, left hand. The house fell upon the Philistines, put him to death, man. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go. Did they burn? Listen to the lesson learned, Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. Look at these 3 men, they won't bow down to this huge golden image. I wonder why now. Everyone is found bowing on the ground, but they still standing because of God's 10 commandments. You must not worship any God except me. That was hard to do in the land of idolatry. In those times, it was King Nebuchadnezzar who ruled Babylon. Put fear in everyone. The king called all the high officials of the land to honor his image he has made so grand. They said, "Oh people, at the time you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the zither, the triangular harp, the string instrument, the bagpipe, and all sorts of musical instruments, you must bow down to the golden image quick. If you don't worship, you burn in the furnace that's lit." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go, in they go. Did they burn? Listen to the lesson learned, Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go, in they go. Did they burn? Listen to the lesson learned, Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. Word got back to King Nebuchadnezzar. 3 men said they'll bow down never. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego made the king angry. Bring them to me, give them a second chance maybe. They'll change their mind when they see the furnace flaming. But each one said, the God we serve will save me. If he doesn't save me, I'll never bow down to your image, they told Nebuchadnezzar. That made him angry even more. He said heat up the furnace 7 times hotter than it was before. The strongest man tied him up, threw him in the furnace to fry him up. The king looked in amaze. It got so hot, his men were killed by the flames. He became afraid. The young men they threw in were filled with faith. By now the 3 men have sealed their fate. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go, in they go. Did they burn? Listen to the lesson learned, Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go, in they go. Did they burn? Listen to the lesson learned, Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. The king asked his servant, didn't we throw 3 men in the furnace to be burnt up? The servant answers, yes. But the king sees 4 men walking in the flesh, no longer tied up, not hurt by the fire. That's odd, plus the 4th one looks like a god. The king moves to the door, comes close by. He shouts, come out you servants of the Most High. Everyone was surprised, couldn't believe their eyes. Jehovah saved the lives of these 3 guys. Let the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be praised. For God sent his angel, these men are saved. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go, in they go. Did they burn? Listen to the lesson learned, Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language will speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and the houses shall be made a dunghill. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, burning hot fiery furnace, in they go, in they go. Because there is no other God that can deliver after this sword. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in they go, in they go. Daniel chapter 3, pages turn. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.